Hello all, welcome to Pustak Vani, your one-stop solution for books summary. So today we are here with the book named Absalom Absalom by William Faulkner. Let's start its summary. In 1833, a wild, imposing man named Thomas Suppan comes to Jefferson, Mississippi, with a group of slaves and a French architect in tow. He buys 100 square miles of land from an Indian tribe, raises a manor house, plants cotton, and marries the daughter of a local merchant, and within a few years is entrenched among the local aristocracy. Suppan has a son and a daughter, Henry and Judith, who grow up in a life of uncultivated ease in the northern Mississippi countryside. Henry goes to college at the University of Mississippi in 1859, and meets a sophisticated fellow student named Charles Bond, whom he befriends and brings home for Christmas. Charles meets Judith, and over time, an engagement between them is assumed. But Suppan realizes that Bond is actually his own son Henry and Judith's half-brother from a previous marriage which he abandoned when he discovered that his wife had Negro blood. He tells Henry that the engagement cannot be, and that Bond is Henry's own brother. Henry reacts with outrage, refusing to believe that Bond knew all along and willingly became engaged to his own sister. Henry repudiates his birthright, and he and Bond flee to New Orleans. When war breaks out, they enlist, and spend 4 hard years fighting for the Confederacy as the South crumbles around them. At the end of the war, Suppan, a colonel, finds his son and reveals to him that not only is Bond his and Judith's half-brother, he is also, in part, a black man. That knowledge makes Henry revolt against Bond in a way that even the idea of incest did not, and on the day Bond arrives to marry Judith, Henry murders him in front of the gates of the Suppan plantation. Suppan returns to a broken house, and becomes a broken though still forceful man. He slides slowly into alcoholism, begins an affair with a 15-year-old white girl named Millie, and continues in that vein until, following the birth of his and Millie's daughter, he is murdered by Millie's grandfather Wash Jones in 1869. Decades later, in 1909, Quinton Compson is a 20-year-old man, the grandson of Suppan's first friend in the country, General Compson, who is preparing to leave Jefferson to attend Harvard. He is summoned by Miss Rosa Coldfield, the sister of Suppan's wife Ellen, and briefly Suppan's fiancée herself, to hear the story of how Suppan destroyed her family and his own. Over the following weeks and months, Quinton is drawn deeper and deeper into the Suppan story, discussing it with his father, thinking about it, and later telling it in detail to his Harvard roommate Shreve. The story is burned into his brain the night he goes with Miss Rosa to the Suppan plantation, where they find Henry Suppan, now an old man waiting to die. Months later, Rosa attempts to return for Henry with an ambulance, but Clyde, Thomas Suppan's daughter with a slave woman and now a withered old woman herself, sets fire to the manor house, killing herself and Henry, and bringing the Suppan dynasty to a fiery end.